Hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting session on mathematics. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of circles, specifically for your CBSE Class 9 syllabus. Our topic is the converse of supplementary opposite angles imply cyclic quadrilateral. Sounds complex? Don't worry. We'll break it down into easy to understand concepts. Whether you're just starting out or looking to master advanced problems, we have content structured across 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest to guide your learning journey. Let's get started. Let's begin our exploration with the basics of what makes certain shapes circle-friendly. This easy level will build your foundational understanding. First, let's quickly recap what a quadrilateral is. It's simply a four-sided polygon, like a square or a rectangle. Now, imagine a special kind of quadrilateral where all its 4 corners, or vertices, lie perfectly on the edge of a circle. That's what we call a cyclic quadrilateral. You might remember that in such a quadrilateral, the angles opposite to each other always add up to 180 degrees. Today, we are looking at the converse of this idea. This means we are flipping the statement: if we find a quadrilateral where its opposite angles do add up to 180 degrees, then we can confidently say it is a cyclic quadrilateral. This gives us a powerful tool to identify these special shapes. So, how do you actually use this new rule? It's quite straightforward. First, identify the pairs of angles that are opposite to each other in your quadrilateral. For example, if your quadrilateral is ABCD, then angle A is opposite to angle C, and angle B is opposite to angle D. Next, simply add the angles in each of these opposite pairs. If both pairs sum up to exactly 180 degrees, then congratulations. You've found a cyclic quadrilateral. If even one pair doesn't add up to 180 degrees, then it's not cyclic. Look at the example on your screen. If angles P and R sum to 180, and angles Q and S sum to 180, then PQRS is cyclic. It's a simple, yet powerful check. Now, it's your turn to practice. Here are 3 questions for you. Take a moment to read them carefully. Apply the steps we just discussed, identify opposite angles, sum them up, and see if they equal 180 degrees. Pause the video here, try to solve them on your own, and then resume to check your understanding. Good luck! Ready to dive a bit deeper? In this medium level, we'll explore the formal statement of the converse theorem and get an intuitive sense of why it works. Let's quickly revisit cyclic quadrilaterals. Remember, all their vertices lie on a circle. The property we learned earlier, the direct theorem, states that if a quadrilateral is cyclic, its opposite angles sum to 180 degrees. Today's focus, the converse, flips this. If opposite angles sum to 180 degrees, then the quadrilateral must be cyclic. This is a crucial distinction. The formal theorem states, if the sum of a pair of opposite angles of a quadrilateral is 180 degrees, then the quadrilateral is cyclic. An important implication here is that if just one pair sums to 180 degrees, the other pair automatically will too, because the total sum of angles in any quadrilateral is 360 degrees. To understand why this converse theorem holds true, let's use a bit of intuition. Imagine you have 3 points, say A, B, and D. You can always draw a unique circle that passes through these 3 points. This circle is called the circumcircle of triangle ABD. Now, if the 4th point, C, forms a quadrilateral ABCD where angle A plus angle C equals 180 degrees, this condition forces point C to land precisely on the same circle that passes through A, B, and D. If C were anywhere else either inside or outside this circle, the angle at C would change, and the sum of A and C would no longer be 180 degrees. This angle condition acts like a geometric magnet pulling the fourth vertex onto the circle. We can even sketch a simple proof by contradiction. Suppose we have a quadrilateral ABCD where angle A plus angle C equals 180 degrees. Now, let's assume for a moment that it's not cyclic, meaning point C is not on the circle passing through A, B, and D. If C is not on the circle, then when we draw a circle through A, B, and D, it must intersect the line segment BC at a different point, let's call it C. Now, ABCD is cyclic, so angle A plus angle BCD must be 180 degrees. But we started by saying angle A plus angle C is 180 degrees. This means angle C must equal angle BCD. However, if C and C are different, this creates a contradiction with triangle properties. This contradiction proves our initial assumption that it's not cyclic must be false. Therefore, it must be cyclic. Time to test your understanding with some medium-level problems. These questions require a slightly deeper application of the converse theorem, including some algebraic thinking. Remember to apply the formal statement and the implications we discussed. Pause the video here, work through these problems, and then rejoin us to review the solutions. Good luck with these. Welcome to the hard level. Here, we'll delve into a detailed proof of the converse theorem and explore its connections with other crucial circle theorems. Let's meticulously unpack the proof of the converse theorem using contradiction. We start with a quadrilateral ABCD where we are given that one pair of opposite angles, say angle A and angle C, sum to 180 degrees. Our goal is to prove that ABCD must be a cyclic quadrilateral. We begin by constructing a circle that passes through three of the vertices, A, B, and D. This is always possible. Now, we consider two main cases for the fourth point. C. Case 1 is simple. If C happens to lie on this circle, then ABCD is cyclic by definition, and our theorem is proven. The more interesting case is when C does not lie on the circle. We then explore two subcases, C being outside the circle or C being inside the circle. In both subcases, by extending lines and using the property of cyclic quadrilaterals, that opposite angles sum to 180 degrees, along with the exterior angle property of a triangle, we arrive at a logical contradiction. This contradiction means our initial assumption that C is not on the circle must be false. Therefore, C must lie on the circle, proving that ABCD is indeed a cyclic quadrilateral. This converse theorem doesn't exist in isolation, it's deeply interconnected with other fundamental circle theorems. Once you've used the converse to establish that a quadrilateral is cyclic, you unlock a cascade of other properties. For instance, you can then apply the theorem about angles in the same segment being equal. This means that if ABCD is proven cyclic, then any angles subtended by the same chord in the same segment will be equal. For example, angle CAD would equal angle CBD. Similarly, if a diagonal of this newly proven cyclic quadrilateral turns out to be a diameter, then any angle subtended by that diameter at the circumference will be a right angle, or 90 degrees. The converse theorem is your gateway to applying these powerful relationships, helping you solve more complex geometric problems by first confirming concyclicity. The power of the converse theorem lies in its ability to provide a definitive test for concyclicity. In many geometry problems, a circle might not be explicitly drawn or mentioned, but you're given angle conditions. This theorem allows you to deduce that a circle can be drawn through those 4 points, which then opens up a whole new set of geometric relationships to use. This makes it an invaluable tool for problem solvers. Furthermore, understanding the proof, particularly the method of contradiction, is crucial. While the direct theorem can often be proven more straightforwardly, the converse theorem beautifully illustrates the elegance and rigor of indirect proof techniques, which are frequently used in higher mathematics to establish complex truths. Now for some challenging problems that require a solid understanding of the converse theorem and its interplay with other geometric principles. These questions might involve deductive reasoning, combining multiple theorems, or applying algebraic concepts. Take your time, draw diagrams, and think through each step carefully. Pause the video here, tackle these problems, and then come back to check your solutions. Your mastery of this topic will truly shine through these exercises. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we'll explore the deeper implications of the converse theorem, its historical significance, advanced applications, and competitive problem-solving strategies. Get ready to stretch your mathematical muscles. The concept of cyclic quadrilaterals is not new. Its origins trace back to ancient Greek mathematicians like Euclid and Ptolemy, who laid much of the groundwork for Euclidean geometry. While the direct theorem, stating that cyclic quadrilaterals have supplementary opposite angles, was well understood, the converse theorem provides an equally fundamental criterion. It acts as a gatekeeper. If a quadrilateral meets this specific angle condition, it must be cyclic. This forms a critical building block for more advanced theorems, such as Ptolemy's theorem, which relates the lengths of sides and diagonals of a cyclic quadrilateral. Understanding this theorem's place in the historical progression of geometry helps appreciate its foundational importance. Let's revisit the proof by contradiction, focusing on its rigorous logical structure. This method is a cornerstone of mathematical proof. The critical step lies in using the exterior angle property of a triangle. When we assume C is outside the circle, we find that an exterior angle of a triangle equals an interior opposite angle, which is a contradiction. Similarly, when C is inside, another contradiction arises. This meticulous step-by-step reasoning, where an assumption leads to an impossible outcome, is vital. In a more engineering sense, this theorem acts as a geometric constraint. Imagine designing a mechanical linkage where 4 pivot points must maintain specific angular relationships. If those relationships happen to make opposite angles supplementary, the theorem guarantees those points are inherently constrained to move on a common circle. This insight is crucial in fields like CAD or robotics for designing precise mechanisms where circular motion is desired or needs to be analyzed. The power of the converse theorem extends beyond simple proofs. It's a prerequisite for understanding and applying more advanced concepts like Ptolemy's theorem, which you might encounter in higher-level geometry. This theorem helps us mathematically predict relationships between side lengths and diagonals once concyclicity is established. Furthermore, this theorem finds practical utility in coordinate geometry. Given 4 points, we can use their coordinates to calculate angles or to find the equation of a circle passing through 3 points and then check if the 4th point lies on it. This allows us to numerically verify if a given set of points forms a cyclic quadrilateral. Understanding why non-cyclic quadrilaterals fail this condition helps us appreciate the special nature of cyclic ones. They are special because they satisfy this rigid angular constraint, which forces them onto a circumcircle. While the 180-degree opposite angle sum is unique to quadrilaterals, the idea of a cyclic polygon, where all vertices lie on a circle, applies to any n-sided polygon. However, the conditions for concyclicity become more complex for n-gons with more than 4 sides. In competitive mathematics, you'll often encounter problems where auxiliary constructions, such as drawing additional lines or circles, are needed to reveal hidden cyclic quadrilaterals, allowing you to apply this converse theorem. Sometimes, even transformations like rotations or reflections can simplify a figure, making the angle conditions easier to spot. This theorem is not just about angles, it's a gateway to understanding deeper geometric relationships and solving complex problems by transforming a general quadrilateral into a more structured, predictable cyclic one. Now, for the ultimate challenge. Here are the first 5 problems designed to test your deepest understanding of the converse theorem and its applications. These questions require critical thinking, combining concepts, and sometimes even a touch of coordinate geometry. Read each problem carefully, visualize the scenario, and apply all the knowledge you've gained. Don't be afraid to try different approaches. Pause the video, dedicate your full attention to these, and we'll continue with the next set shortly. Alright, here are the remaining 5 problems for the hardest level. These questions build upon the previous ones, pushing your problem-solving skills even further. They might involve proving properties of specific types of quadrilaterals, dealing with tangents, or exploring relationships between angle bisectors. Remember, perseverance is key in mathematics. Break down complex problems into smaller, manageable parts. Once you've completed these, you'll have a truly comprehensive grasp of the converse theorem and its vast implications. Take your time, and good luck. And that brings us to the end of our comprehensive journey through the converse theorem of cyclic quadrilaterals. From understanding the basics of why shapes are circle-friendly to mastering advanced proofs and competitive problem-solving, you've covered a lot of ground. Remember, consistent practice is the key to excelling in mathematics. For more such engaging and in-depth educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. You'll find a wealth of resources tailored to your learning needs. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more exciting lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep shining. See you in the next session.